When Diddy went live on Instagram in 2020 to introduce a young white girl as his adopted daughter, people were left completely puzzled by the unexpected move. The girl, who appeared to be around 11 or 12 years old, stood by his side smiling awkwardly as Diddy enthusiastically encouraged her to say her new name out loud.
That he would like to be a caring man, so then he saw me and decided to pick me up and said to come inside and play with his kids.
At first, it seemed like one of those random but sweet celebrity moments that pop up online. A wealthy black mogul stepping up to care for a child during the uncertainty of the pandemic. It gave off major savior vibes, the kind of gesture that usually floods timelines with heart emojis and applause. But something about it felt off, and though no one could explain why, the unease lingered. Now, looking back, that Instagram moment with Ava feels completely different. After that debut, she practically disappeared. No birthday posts, no goofy family TikToks, not even casual behind-the-scenes glimpses of life in the Combs household. And when she did surface in rare clips, it only raised more questions. Fans started noticing she was usually seen near Diddy's sons, never his daughters, and her body language always seemed stiff, like she didn't know where to stand or how to behave. It didn't feel warm or genuine, it felt orchestrated, like PR. Then, out of nowhere, Terrence Howard dropped a bombshell in court that blew the lid off everything. His testimony was supposed to focus on Diddy's alleged predatory behavior in Hollywood circles. But mid-sentence, Terrence hinted at something else, something involving someone unexpected. Suddenly, the internet connected the dots. Ava. Why? Because not long after Terrence's testimony, Diddy's indictment widened to include more potential victims, and quiet rumors started swirling that Ava might be one of them. That awkward Instagram Live might have been the start of something far darker than anyone realized. And then things spiraled further. Terrence elaborated, describing fans quickly picked up on the subtext. Terrence wasn't just talking about himself. Whispers started circulating. What if Ava was part of the same disturbing pattern? What if Diddy's so-called adoption wasn't about compassion at all, but about access? That theory gained serious traction when Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, came forward with his own revelations. Gene had been around during it all. He'd seen things most people hadn't, and according to him, Ava's introduction wasn't a heartwarming family moment. It was a carefully staged move to soften Diddy's image while the world was stuck at home scrolling for uplifting content. Gene claimed Diddy picked Ava up during the pandemic, paraded her on social media like a prop, and then quietly erased her from view once the online buzz faded. No school pictures, no birthday updates, nothing but silence. Worse, Gene hinted that insiders in the industry knew something was off. People behind the scenes suspected there might even be footage, evidence linked to whatever really happened next. And now, federal investigators are reportedly sifting through Diddy's confiscated devices, searching for exactly that. That's when the story shifted. Ava wasn't just a fleeting name anymore. She became the question. Where is Ava Baron Condi, and what happened after that Instagram Live? Diddy never mentioned her again. No Father's Day shoutouts, no interviews, no social media posts. And for a man who documents every detail of his luxury lifestyle, yachts, parties, birthdays, that silence was deafening. Soon, internet detectives took over. People began pulling old screenshots, matching timelines, replaying that awkward live on repeat, convinced it held clues to something much darker. And maybe it did. Because after that debut, Ava's name didn't pop up anywhere. Not in adoption records, not in school databases, not in tagged posts from classmates or friends. It was as if she'd been introduced to the world and then deliberately wiped from it. The kind of disappearance that feels intentional, like someone wanted her gone without leaving a trail. And then the lawsuits started, one after another, not just aimed at Diddy, but also circling people in his inner circle. Suddenly, names like Justin and Christian Combs started showing up in court filings, dragging Diddy's entire family deeper into the unfolding scandal. Justin's name surfaced in a case tied to alleged trafficking, while Christian is now facing a sexual assault lawsuit. Fresh, ongoing allegations filled with disturbing details that mirror the accusations leveled against Diddy himself. And this is where things started to feel deeply unsettling because whenever Ava did appear, she was never seen around Diddy's daughters. Always his sons, the very ones now being linked to these dark accusations. It sparked a chilling question. Was Ava brought into that household to be cared for or to be controlled? Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, who's been dropping revelations like a man unburdening years of secrets, insisted it wasn't just for public relations. He claimed Diddy didn't invent this behavior. He learned it from others in the industry, people who used power not to uplift, but to exploit. And then, he followed the same playbook. Gene broke it down in one interview. That's how it works in that world. You either get used or you start using. If that's true, then Ava wasn't just some random kid caught up in a celebrity's good deed during lockdown. She might have been part of a setup, another pawn in a much bigger and more sinister pattern. And then there was that one comment Diddy made that won't stop haunting the narrative. During the Instagram Live, he said to Ava, "I adopted you like Madonna did," trying to pass it off as normal. But that comparison has aged horribly. Madonna's adoptions have been criticized for years, with serious allegations of child trafficking, manipulated court systems, and children removed from their homes under questionable circumstances. So when Diddy casually aligned himself with that, it didn't sound like a celebrity flex. It felt more like an accidental confession. And the timeline makes it worse. Ava shows up out of nowhere, the pandemic hits, Diddy's reputation is battered by scandal after scandal, and then suddenly, Ava is introduced. Just as quickly, she vanishes. Meanwhile, Diddy's legal troubles start boiling over, with new victims coming forward, some of them minors, some allegedly filmed, some possibly trafficked. That's not conspiracy anymore. It's what federal investigators are actively hunting. And at the center of it all is that one unresolved name, Ava Baron Combs. A child who may have thought she was walking into a mansion for safety, but instead found herself in a trap, surrounded by danger she couldn't see coming. Then there's Cassie Ventura, Diddy's ex, whose lawsuit shattered whatever image people still wanted to believe in. She didn't drop hints or suggest things, she told it plainly. She said she was watched, recorded, trapped, used. And now, people are asking if Ava got caught in the same machine, the same sick environment, just a different version of the same nightmare. The industry is tense, holding its breath, because if Ava talks, if she testifies, this won't be another celebrity scandal swept under the rug. This could be the one that detonates everything. And then there's 50 Cent, who seemed to see it coming all along. For years, he's been jabbing at Diddy online, throwing shade that often felt more like warnings than jokes. People dismissed it as typical industry beef, ego battles for entertainment. But now, with lawsuits piling up, that teasing has taken on a much darker tone. He's producing a documentary titled, "Did He Do It?" And it's not just clickbait, it's a statement. In a clip already going viral, 50 Cent says, "They can't charge him for what we saw, but we can't unsee it." And with that, the internet erupted, because that wasn't just a diss, it was a warning shot. Because everyone knows 50 doesn't bluff, and if he's teasing footage, if he's even hinting that there's something visual, something real that could tie Diddy to the things people have only whispered about, it means he's been holding this truth for a long time. And now, he's not standing alone. Sources close to the federal investigation claim that Ava Baron Kamami isn't missing. She's not a runaway, she's not hiding, she's reportedly cooperating. And if that's true, if this girl who was once paraded awkwardly on live streams like a charity project is now ready to speak, it changes everything. This wouldn't be speculation anymore. It would be confirmation straight from the one person who lived it. That means prosecutors finally have the one thing they never had before, a first-hand witness from inside the house, someone who saw what no one outside those walls was ever supposed to see. And if Ava tells them what really happened after those cameras turned off, who she was around, what she was asked to do, what was recorded, it could finally connect all the scattered dots. The Terrence Howard hints, the endless lawsuits, the hidden charges. Suddenly, it all makes sense. And it explains why Diddy's been spiraling in public. The sudden payouts, the disappearing posts, the sloppy PR damage control, it doesn't look like strategy anymore. It looks like fear. This man, who once dominated music, fashion, and media, is now watching his entire empire rot from the inside out. And this time, the noise isn't dying down. The internet is fully locked in, saving everything, recording live streams, tracking court updates like it's an HBO drama, except this time it's not a show, it's real life. And if Ava takes the stand, she won't just speak for herself, she'll speak for every victim who never got the chance to be heard. Not just within Diddy's circle, but across an industry that has for decades protected powerful men behind the shield of fame, fortune, and influence. And that protection is already starting to crack. You can feel it in the silence from the same celebrities who used to pose in pictures with him, pop champagne with him, call him family. They've all gone silent. No support, no defense, just distance. They know exactly what it means when someone like Gene Deal starts spilling, when 50 Cent stops joking, when the feds start taking hard drives. The conversation has shifted. People used to ask, "Where did Ava go?" Now they're asking, "What does Ava know?" And that single shift changes everything. Ava's not just some forgotten name from an awkward live stream. She's now the possible key to unlocking the entire story. The one thread that might unravel a whole machine of secrecy and abuse that's been hiding in plain sight for years. Because if even half of what's being whispered is true, if Ava's story connects the darkest parts of Diddy's world, this isn't just going to be another scandal. It's going to be the total implosion of his name, his legacy, his protection. And with each day that passes, it's starting to look more and more like the people Diddy tried to silence are finally ready to speak. And this time, they're not backing down.